Communal fault lines, they never disappeared, but they seem to have strongly reappeared in the Karnataka's politics. Prashant JS, who's a spokesperson of Karnataka BJP, Mr. Rashid Kidwai, who's an author and senior journalist, and Mr. B.S. Arun, who's a senior journalist. We also have Samrugdha Hegde, who's a spokesperson of the Karnataka Pradesh Congress Committee. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us on the broadcast. A very good evening to all of you. Prashant JS, coming to you. The Congress Party argues that this entire law was something that was not permitted under Indian Constitution. They also say that the manner in which this law was drafted and the provisions of the law were drafted in a manner that it was used as a tool to harass the minority community. I ask you to open the debate here because the direct question is to the BJP that this was a law which ab initio was unconstitutional in nature.
What is unconstitutional about the law, which was Right to Freedom of Religion Act 2022? What is unconstitutional? What was brought about in that? Only to say forced conversions cannot be done. You cannot allure somebody. You cannot lure somebody into conversion. You can't convert somebody through coercion. Constitution gives the right to every individual to choose the religion of his or her choice. We are not even disputing it. At the same time, you can't have forceful conversions because if the Congress party respects the sentiments of Hindus and also keeping in mind the constitutional provisions and the law laid down by Supreme Court, is applicable to every citizen of the country as per Article 141(1) of the Constitution. In Stainlaws versus State of Madhya Pradesh, Supreme Court has said that conversion is not a fundamental right,
It is not.
and
Yes.
state can regulate wherever it sees there's a issue in that.
I point out a specific provision that has been pointed. Yes, you're absolutely right in Rev Stainlaws versus the state of Madhya Pradesh. In fact, it's a constitutional precedent that has been used elsewhere. But there's a particular provision I want to talk to you about: the fact that anybody could have been a complainant, the fact that the burden of proof was put on the person against whom the complaint was being made, the fact that there was disproportionate powers that were given to the police, and there was also a power of arrest that they could exercise upon a mere complaint, made this entire law a tool of harassment. The particular provisions I'm talking about.
Anusha, see, if the government finds that there is something which is unconstitutional or it will result to something, they can bring in measures to regulate it if they feel that the regulation is not proper. Repealing is not the act. The act of repeal indicates the Congress mindset of being anti-Hindu, divisive politics, and only to practice vote bank politics, nothing else. Because what they're doing is nothing but appeasement. Because if there are two sides to a coin of Congress, one is corruption, another is appeasement. So therefore, on one hand, they're failing to promise they're fulfilling the promises there. They're landing in trouble there as to what they promise and what they try to deliver. To deviate the people from that, they're trying to bring in this and incite fear in the minds of people that Karnataka is not safe for people, and they're wanting to bring the anti-conversion law, which in fact is absolutely baseless because Karnataka is the most peaceful
Now I
state,
want to go to the Congress party,
Congress
which is the ruling government in the state. Samruddha, the point that I want to understand from you, a question plain and simple. Are there no illegal conversions that happen in the state of Karnataka? Let me put it in a different way. Are there no conversions that happen in Karnataka because of allurement or various other methods which this particular law has made illegal? Are you saying there are no instances? And if there are instances, don't we need a law to regulate it, sir? Mr. Hegde.
Let me start off by saying the BJP and the opposition are unable to digest the fact that the Congress manifesto has been accepted by the people of Karnataka, and we are only delivering on our promises. The guarantees have been implemented, and now we are undoing the wrongs that were brought in by the BJP, by the previous government. The people of Karnataka have elected a Sarva Janangada Sarkara. With respect to the legislation in question, it was first brought in as an ordinance and then as an act without any empirical data or any statistics. It's pertinent to note that both the central government and the state government at the time had absolutely no data on the number of forced conversions either in the state or in the country. It was brought in only to
have numbers for conversion.
So one second. Let him make his point. Sir, let him make his point. I'll come to you. Mr. Hegde, make your point. Yes.
The act only sought to further a political agenda and attempted to create a hostile environment in the state. So we are in no way defending forced conversions by allurement in any means. But we are saying there are sufficient remedies
available in existing statutes and under existing provisions of law.
For example?
This particular act,
For
this
example,
particular
for
act,
example,
for example, the Indian Penal Code.
No, what
For
provisions under the
example,
Indian
Section
Penal Code?
506 of the Indian Penal Code.
Okay.
This particular act was used as a tool to peddle hate and sow seeds of communism.
Huh.
And we shall take action against anyone who peddles hate and against those who indulge in forced conversion. Now, any individual
Anusha,
may
may I
choose
step
to.
in?
506 is a threat to
Is
cause
only
death or
limitation.
grievous hurt. It's
506 is about
a
intimidation.
no 506, Mr. Hegde, is a section which is about causing grievous hurt or yeah, it's
So it's
intimidation.
criminal intimidation.
Yeah, but it also
Yes,
requires grievous injury, grievous physical injury.
No,
That's what it
Not
requires.
at all. It doesn't require injury. Ma'am, I'm an advocate by profession.
With due
506
respect,
does
I
not
know a bit
require
of
any
law.
injury.
It does.
It does not. It does not. 506 does not
It is
require
a
any-
cause and offence punishable with death or imprisonment of life or with an imprisonment which may extend to 7 years. Are you saying this grievous injury is without physical injury?
Of course, 506 only speaks about criminal intimidation. It does not require injury to take place.
Mr.
You-
Samarathne,
okay,
when
I-
people
when
to
I'm
be
talking-
forcefully
I
converted,
When
can't
I'm
debate on a
talking-
fact. I can't debate on a
When-
fact.
when I'm
Yes.
talking-
You're playing
when I'm
with the
talking
minds of the
about-
One
people.
second, one second. Prashantji, I'm
One
coming to you
second.
after this. I'm coming to you after this. Yes.
Now, when a particular person wants to convert into Hinduism or convert into Islam or convert into Christianity, it is his personal right and he should be allowed to do it. Such acts act as an obstacle to following your own personal and individual rights. And that is why it has to be repealed.
Well, sir, the fact of the matter is that the question that the BJP is asking you. Yes, Mr. Prashant, make your point, then I'll take another point.
It's-
Yes.
We are not stopping anybody from voluntary conversion. If people want to convert on their own will, the Constitution provides for it, and we are not stopping it. What Congress is now trying to do is to support such of those people who would have indulged in illegal conversions to get away scot-free from the law. Because if there's somebody who's aggrieved by this, when they go to the court, like how the Congress spokesperson is now trying to say that it's on 506, court will say, under which law have you come to me? Criminal intimidation under IPC 506 is a more of a generic section,
Yeah.
and you have to prove a lot of things. Whereas there is no specific law here to say that you are forcefully converted, because a lot of other factors go in. When the coercion happens, they are lured with money and people are threatened. You have seen on record what happened in Mandi also 2 years back as to how people came out
Let
and
me-
said what they were threatened with, how their relatives were threatened. So therefore, it has happened. And on record, the bishop from Kerala in 2021 has gone on to record to say that love jihad is increasing and they're luring Christian girls and also Hindu girls into this trap.
But sir,
So
I
therefore,
believe there needs to
not
be a
lure
distinction that's
people.
drawn here. Prashantji, I think there's a distinction that needs to be drawn here. Love jihad, quote unquote, a term which is talked about by the right-wing organizations. It's a slippery
No, it was-
slope.
it
One
was
second, sir,
started
one
by the
second, one
Christian
second,
bishop.
one second, one second. There you can argue whether it's criminal or it's not criminal. This particular law was about criminality of conversion. It drew a very strong line. I want to bring